We're going to close our border because we have millions and millions of people pouring in from jails and prisons and mental institutions and terrorists, and we're not going to stand for it anymore.
Hello and welcome back to this channel. We are going to jump right in again. If you are new here, welcome. Please check out some of my content to see if this is the right station for you. I bring the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Regardless to what the popular opinion, I am always going to respect people for who they are as humans, and in return I expect the same. But today I want to jump in because President Trump was in my state today, and that is the state of North Carolina. My family migrated, my father migrated here from South Carolina at the age of 3. So between South and North Carolina, these are my homes. He came through Wilmington. He basically says the same things at rallies. He reassures you of the policies that he has. He does have a plan. And although I have taken myself out of the political realm, I feel like this election is very important. So I may have to participate. And if I was to participate, as I've said in previous videos, I have been a supporter of Trump for a while now. Going back and actually researching history some years ago, even when it wasn't popular among Black Americans to talk in such a way, I always had that support for him. At one point in time, I do believe that Trump was either a Democrat or leaning towards that direction. And I really believe that he would have still been a Democrat in a way if it had not been for the hoops and the ropes and the jungles that the Democratic Party, I believe, wanted him to jump through. They may have wanted him to be a Secretary of State or this, that, and the other. And Trump was like, nah, I know what to do. I know what to make businesses thrive. I know what it takes to speak with people from around the world. I know what to do in order to be successful, and I am not getting ready to play the type of games that you guys want me to play. I'm going to jump right into the political arena. I'm going to run for president so I can make this country great again, so we can bring some new ideas. Although he is older, he still surrounds himself with the latest in information and technology, and people who are making these things happen every day. The conservative side of this election aligns with my principles, with my standards, and my beliefs. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not an independent, I'm just me. But Trump would be the one to support, in my opinion. And for me and my life and my way of life, it would be Trump. With that being said, he came to North Carolina today. He did the standard rally speeches, reassuring everyone that certain things would take place on day one or within his administration. The thing about him is that not only does he have the education of how businesses work, he has mounds of experience on how businesses work. I have questions that I believe we need answers to. With that being said, I believe that there are some things that you cannot discuss in terms of policy, and I get that. He came out earlier this spring or summer, said, hey, no tax on tips. I met a waitress and this happened, and I have decided no tax on tips. Boom, everyone's like, what? No taxes? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no taxes. That means I could keep my cash tips to myself, and I could keep my tips. Yeah, no taxes on it. So he was like, okay, bet. Here comes Kamala, and she adopts the same thing or steals the same thing. So I understand where in certain issues and policies you can expose. because you have to keep something to yourself. However, when it comes down to issues that are really affecting Americans, such as this immigration, I believe that we should expound on those issues a tad bit more. Okay, so he, within all of his speeches and rallies, he talks about the most massive deportation in American history. We have learned that there are over 20 million people that have crossed the border. And yes, we are experiencing it, even in North Carolina. I didn't know that this was a sanctuary state. I didn't know we had sanctuary cities until about a year and a half ago, because I'm a Uber and Lyft driver part-time, and I've been doing that part-time for 6 years, or a little over 6 years. So I meet a lot of people, and I have met a lot of immigrants. I didn't ask their status or anything like that, but I know that they have came from countries that I hadn't even heard of before. And so with that being said, they were the ones that I encountered. Some of the ones that I encountered are very friendly. You treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I don't care where you come from, who you are, what you look like. I'm always going to give people respect, because that's what they deserve, is respect. However, I have run into some along my journey that have had some very nasty dispositions about themselves. Very cold, snappy attitudes. Some are very nasty in their attitude and their dispositions. And I've had to check some of them as well. He describes criminal deportation. And I want to be very specific, because you have to be in this day and age. I need to know specifics. You have those who are committing violent crimes. Yes, that's one. And then you have those who just blatantly came into the country illegally. What is the plan on actually deporting them? What is a realistic goal? Because I know all of them cannot leave. You're not going to be able to capture a lot of them, unless maybe there's some more employment opportunities for Americans within the ICE department, or maybe a subgroup of ICE, where communities are actually where you have certain people employed by the government to round people up.
We also want to win New York. We think we can, because of what's happened with the migrant crisis. Everybody's coming into New York. People that, frankly, that just got out of prisons from the Congo and from the Middle East and from lots of other places. And the people of New York, look, I left here. This was a great place. Now it's a place that's overrun by people that shouldn't be in our country, by very dangerous people, street gangs. You see what's happening in other states. It's not only in New York, but you look at what's going on with the Venezuelan taking over the real estate in Colorado with guns like even our military doesn't have, guns and rifles. So, no, we got to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. We have to deport all of these criminals that have been brought in, and we will. 21 million people, and that's really not including gotaways, came into this country. And they came in from a lot of bad places. Do you know that crime all over the world is down? In Venezuela, it's down 72%, because they've taken their criminals and they've dumped them into the United States.
And it's not that we hate people or anything like that. For years, we saw things on TV back in the day, before we found out that a lot of those organizations were fraudulent. We would see commercials on TV. We would send money to these places because we had a heart. Of course, we don't know what the extent of what some of these people go through in other countries. Yes, we pray. I prayed even before this immigration issue started. Pray every day for everyone around the world, and for those who are in dire need of help at this time, especially as I'm speaking these words. There are people in my city. There's people in my state. There are people in the United States that are in danger, or that are in a very critical time. We have these people here locally. nationally. And we also know that this is happening around the world. Freedoms and liberties are taken away, and sometimes in some cases were never granted. We feel for those situations, and we have came to the rescue on numerous times. Now, a lot of times if these organizations were fraudulent, we learned as information came in that a lot of times a lot of this money that was sent towards different causes, those people directly did not benefit from those capitals that were sent. So we have a heart. It's just that at this point, we can't afford to adopt anyone, because before this immigration period started, we were working on our own problems as Americans, as those who have history in this country. We were working on our own problems. This explosion of immigration just landing at our footstep, it's just become too overwhelming, and we know as everyday Americans, we just don't have the resources to help people. We have homeless veterans. We have homeless people who have mental instabilities, who need help. We have people who have lost everything, who need help. We have people who have never received anything, that pay taxes, that need help.
Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much.
So we can't just invite people in and we know we don't have enough to go around. That's rude. That's just like a free-for-all cookout outdoors. And everybody's coming to get hot dogs and hamburgers. Well, I only bought enough to feed about 100 people, but all of a sudden, 1,000 people show up. I know good and doggone well I didn't buy enough food for that. I know good and doggone well I don't have enough food to feed everybody. I know this. So that's all we're saying. We're not anti-immigration. At least let us get established as everyday Americans. Let us be able to buy a house first. Let us be able to put back some money for our retirement and a rainy day, and to help our families and those who are in need. Let us build. We don't have to give right now. So I need to know specifics of how he plans to do this deportation. Because even here in North Carolina, like I said before, I have gone to several factories within my area and I see nothing but migrants. How do you know they're migrants? Well, I know an American when I see one. I know an American when I hear one. Okay? Will there be opportunities for Americans to work for ICE, or maybe subdivisions of ICE? Because for 20 million people, you're going to need all the help you can get. Unless you finna bring in our armies. Now you bring in the armies, we might be working with some hot grease. Have more than just the National Guard, we need armies. There's an army rising up. That's your cops. We need our military in our own land. So I need a realistic goal and I need the plan. That's gonna help me sleep better at night. Okay, so I'm not gonna hold this video any longer. This is my question 1. Please stay tuned for question 2 coming your way very, very soon. Let me know what you think. Any thoughts or comments? How do you feel? Am I coming from an unfair position in your opinion? All opinions are appreciated. So again, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And I will see you in the next video. May the Most High bless.